One of the most remarkable surviving objects associated with the Umayyad court is the marble basin made for al-Mansur, the hajib of the Umayyad Caliphate of Córdoba. The basin is one of the very few securely identifiable objects connected to his palace city, Madinat al-Zahira, the residence that al-Mansur built to rival the earlier Umayyad palace of Madinat al-Zahra. Its inscription tells us that it was made bi Qasr al-Zahira, in the palace of al-Zahira, under the direction of a figure whose name begins with K, likely Khalaf or Kaira, in the year 377, or in the Gregorian calendar 987 to 988. The object therefore belongs to the very moment when al-Mansur was consolidating his authority and simultaneously carrying out his expansion of the Great Mosque of Córdoba. The basin itself is a large rectangular marble block richly carved on its sides with a dense program of vegetal, architectural, and animal imagery. One of its long sides presents a striking architectural composition. 3 polylobed arches rise above slender columns, forming a tripartite arcade that strongly recalls the architectural language of Umayyad Córdoba. The arches sit within square frames, and their alternating vousards immediately evoke celebrated arcades of the Great Mosque. Beneath them spreads a luxuriant vegetal world of vines and foliage, carved with remarkable depth and precision. The capitals display the distinctive roll corbels familiar from the columns of al-Mansur's extension of the mosque, suggesting that the craftsmen responsible for the basin were closely connected to the same artistic environment that produced the architecture of the Cordoban expansion. This architectural imagery is not simply decorative. The composition appears to represent a palace setting, perhaps even the sort of pavilion garden environment in which such basins would have been installed. Miriam Rosser Owen suggests that the carving may intentionally evoke an architectural space framed by 3 arches, an arrangement that had become a powerful visual symbol in Umayyad Córdoba, where triple arch compositions framed the caliph in ceremonial spaces such as the Salon Rico. In this sense, the basin condenses into stone a miniature version of elite Umayyad architectural space. The other sides of the basin introduce a very different set of motifs drawn from the animal world. On one short side appear large birds that resemble heraldic eagles. They grasp prey in their talons, while beneath them smaller griffins populate the scene. Some scholars have suggested that these birds might actually be griffins because they possess pointed ears, yet the visual effect is unmistakably that of the powerful heraldic eagle. The motif likely evoked the military banners of the Umayyad dynasty, where the eagle had become a prominent emblem after its adoption under Abd al-Rahman III. If so, the imagery may allude directly to the political and military authority exercised by al-Mansur as hajib. Elsewhere on the basin, the animal imagery becomes more dramatic. Lions attack gazelles in scenes of violent combat, their elongated bodies twisting through this vegetal ornament. Such imagery was common in the luxury arts of the Islamic world and carried strong associations with royal power, hunting, and domination. The motif appears on other objects connected with the Umayyad elite and may have been part of a broader iconographic program that emphasized princely authority. Despite its frequent identification in older scholarship as an ablution basin, the object was almost certainly not used for wudu, the ritual washing before prayer. Its large size and elaborate figurative decoration make its function unlikely. Instead, Rosser Owen argues that these massive marble basins most probably belonged in the halls or gardens of Umayyad palaces, where they served as luxurious fountains within elite architectural settings. Water would have entered through a fountainhead, perhaps in the form of an animal sculpture, before draining through openings in the basin's upper surface. The history of the basin after the fall of the Caliphate is also revealing. The object was discovered in Sevilla and is now preserved in the Museo Arqueológico Nacional in Madrid. Its presence in Sevilla suggests that such objects were highly valued after the collapse of Umayyad authority and were transported to other cities as prestigious spoils. Other Umayyad basins experienced similar moments. One made for al-Mansur's son, Abd al-Malik al-Muzaffar, eventually reached Marrakesh, maybe taken by the Almoravids. These journeys illustrate how the luxury objects of the Caliphal and Umayyad courts continued to circulate and acquire new meanings in later political contexts. The basin therefore provides an extraordinary glimpse into a largely vanished world. Madinat al-Zahira itself has almost completely disappeared, leaving behind only scattered traces of the court culture that once flourished there. Objects such as this basin form part of a small surviving corpus through which we can reconstruct that lost environment. Each piece functions like a fragment of a larger mosaic, reminding us both of the sophistication of Andalusi artistic production and how much of the civilization's material culture has been lost to time.